Hello everyone. Welcome to this edition of Topic of the Day. In today's video, we will be discussing the Shimla Agreement. So recently, the Shimla Agreement completed its 50 years. As you can see in the historical picture, it was signed between the then Pakistani President Zulfikar Ali Bhutto and our Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi. So this was signed on 2nd of July 1972. Now this topic is important from both prelims and mains perspective. In fact, from GS1, from the topic of post-independence consolidation and reorganization, this is very important. So in this video, let's see a bit of the background and objectives of the Shimla Agreement. So 2nd of July 2022 marked the 50th anniversary of the Shimla Agreement. Now Shimla Agreement was a mutual commitment to peaceful resolution of all the problems between India and Pakistan. And most importantly, it was also to bring about withdrawal of troops and the exchange of prisoners of war. So India released around 93,000 Pak soldiers that were taken as prisoners of war during the 1971 war. So let us see a bit of the background of the Shimla Agreement. Now it was a treaty that laid out principles which would govern the future bilateral relations between India and Pakistan. It was signed 8 months after the Indo-Pakistan War of 1971, or as we call it, the Bangladesh Liberation War. So this war happened from 3rd of December 1971 to 16th of December 1971. So it was a total 13-day war, which led to splitting of Pakistan and consequently the creation of another nation, that was Bangladesh. So the agreement was signed by the then Indian Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi and Zulfikar Ali Bhutto on the 2nd of July 1972. He came up with a delegation of 84 people in the capital of Himachal Pradesh, Shimla. That's why we have Shimla Agreement. So Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was serving as the President of Pakistan at that time. He served as the 4th President of Pakistan from 1971 to 73, and he has also served as the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the 9th Prime Minister of Pakistan from 1973 to 1977. Now, if we talk about why the war started, there were many social and political reasons, and one of the most prominent one was that people of East Pakistan were against imposing Urdu as official language in Eastern Pakistan, who were obviously Bengali-speaking community or Bengali ethnicity. There was a political leader, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who later became the first president of Bangladesh. He was from the Awami League, that was the Bengali Nationalist Party, and he for the first time demanded elections to completely liberate East Pakistan from the rest of Pakistan. There was also Bengali armed resistance as the Mukti Wahini. So as a result of all this uprising in the eastern Pakistan, the Pakistani army that was led by General Yahya Khan and Tika Khan launched Operation Searchlight on the 25th of March 1971. Now this operation led to genocide over Bengali population in eastern Pakistan that led to death of around approximately 30 lakh people. Now India lent support to the refugees of this genocide and also to prevent Pakistan from entering India while liberating Bangladesh. So out of fear, Pakistan did some preemptive strikes on 11 forward bases of India, which led to the 1971 Indo-Pakistan War and finally liberating East Pakistan from the West Pakistan. Now let us discuss on some of the principles and objectives related to the Shimla Agreement. So both of the countries were to resolve or settle their differences by peaceful mechanism through direct bilateral approach or by any other peaceful means mutually agreed upon between them. Secondly, a special focus on people-to-people contact was made, for which they had to build a foundation of cooperative relations. Further on, both the countries were supposed to take measures not to violate the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir. So the ceasefire line as on 17th of December 1971 was decided as the line of control, and both of the sides agreed upon not to unilaterally alter the situation. And some of the objectives include to end conflict and confrontation, promotion of friendly and harmonious relationship, also to establish peace and welfare of the state. Further on, to respect for each other's political independence, sovereignty, integrity and unity, and also not to disturb each other's internal affair. In addition, both the governments agreed upon taking steps within their power to prevent any sort of hostile propaganda that was directed against each other. So, if we talk about certain key clauses of the Shimla Agreement, first of all, the relations between India and Pakistan were to be governed by the principle and purposes of the UN Charter. Now, when we talk about UN Charter, it is the founding document of the United Nations and it was to maintain international peace and security. So it can also be seen as an instrument of international law and therefore the UN member states are bound by it, and the UN Charter came into force in October 1945. Further on, if we talk about the clauses, it also included taking steps in the power to prevent any sort of hostile propaganda against each other. Also to work on trade and communication, exchange of knowledge, pullback of the forces along the international borders. Further on, to honor the line of control result of 1971 ceasefire, and most importantly, the release of prisoners of war. So finally, as an effect of this agreement, India returned the 93,000 prisoners of war in an organized manner as promised by Mrs. Indira Gandhi. Also, Pakistan was to work on converting the line of control to an international border. Further on, along with the prisoners of war, India also returned the territories it captured during the war in the Western Front. So this was all a little bit about the Shimla Agreement. Let's take up one practice question on this topic. Now for the question of the day. Which of the following statements are correct regarding the Shimla Agreement? First, it was the result of India-Pakistan War of 1971. And second, as per the agreement, relations between both the countries were to be governed by the principles and purposes of the UN Charter. You have to select the correct answer using the codes given below. You can write your answers in the comment section. So as we know, both of the statements are correct. It was a result of India-Pakistan War of 1971, that is correct. And also, both the countries were to be governed by the principles and purposes of the UN Charter. That is also correct. So the correct answer is option C, that is both 1 and 2. And with this, we call it a wrap of today's edition of Topic of the Day. I hope you liked the video. I will see you with some other topic tomorrow. Till then, take care and do stay tuned.